Welcome back to another NCUT review. And today we have Welcome to Derry. And this is a full episode season breakdown. And we're going to go episode by episode. I know I said episode season breakdown, but this is a full season breakdown. We're going to have episode by episode. We're starting at episode 1, Dick in a Box.
Dick in a And a ribbon in my hair.
Something like this would scar me for life, and it still has to this day. You see a birthing scene, the mother completely changes, being 9 months pregnant, and it bursts this alien baby. Antichrist out, and it eventually is
Erica Kirk's son. Soon to be
J.D. Vance and Erica Kirk's son. And you start to see the slow corruption of all the family. The dad's like on laughing gas the whole time. The
daughter's eating liver.
It's straight up like raw liver. The son can't spell, which turns the situation into what can Maddie do? And I thought he'd just jump out the car, but I mean, he might have some supernatural demon locks on those doors, because instead, the kid just plugs his ears and accepts his fate. Which, I mean, is both shocking, but also, like, depressing as well. You just know he dies, but it's in a fever dream, so you don't really know if he's dead or not. And I mean, speaking of dying, the next scene that needs to be spoken about is Ronnie, in her bedroom, trying to go to sleep, and sees something scary in the corner, like all kids do. She chucks the bedsheet over her head, trying to protect herself. As she hears the monster getting closer, she tries to rip the blanket off herself, and she cannot. It just does not end. It's like one of those royal, like, magistrates things when you have the note. He comes through. After that, everything turns blood red and this womb fills up and she's in the fucking placenta. She has to rip herself out of there.
Giving birth to herself just like an Ace Ventura Jim Carrey. Giving birth out of the rhino.
And she turns around and it's her mother. Her mother is sitting on this fucking bed saying, "You killed me. You're the one to do this," because her mum's now passed, which I didn't mention.
And the mother died at childbirth.
And then after this, Pennywise tries to pull her back through the umbilical cord. So Ronnie's only decision is to bite the umbilical cord to kick it off and run away. The most fear-mongering scene I've seen, I think, in Derry history, even through the movies.
And this is why this show's so popular to begin with. This is the first episode only, and we're already talking about these two pivotal scenes that left you images in your mind that you couldn't get over. And I think that's why 5 episodes in, it's rated, 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. The fan score is like nearly 100%. You are hooked with this TV show. Now, we didn't really delve too much into the final plot points because they didn't need it. You have to wait 5 episodes to see Pennywise, but I think this show, in the first pilot episode, leaves you wanting more, so much more. And the fact that it's released week after week after week adds to that.
Agreed. And also when you have main characters and you just don't know if they're going to survive throughout the first ep, and that's what happened in this.
You definitely thought Phil and Teddy were going to be the main characters of this TV show, and then gone.
In the last scene of the fucking episode, you're like, okay, we have the backs build up. What's going to happen in this cinema? And all of a sudden you see the baby again. 2 main characters.
And even coming into episode 2, you thought to yourself, that wasn't real. What happened? Like, it starts with Lily and we'll go into episode 2 now. Like, it starts with Lily waking up and you're like, oh, okay, so that was all a Pennywise terrible nightmare. And then the episode continues and they don't come back on screen, Phil and Teddy. And you're like, oh, they actually did die. But even in your head, you're thinking to yourself, is this real? And I think that's another thing that Derry, the world of it, Stephen King, does so well. You do not know what's real or not. Half the time you're looking in corners of the screen to see, is that Pennywise? Is that Pennywise? Especially one of the great jump scares that comes in an episode later, peering around the corner and they're waving at you in the background. So funny. But that's what's so good about Pennywise and the It universe. You don't know what's real or not. And we definitely thought those boys were coming back. 5 episodes in, they're still not back.
So in episode 2, apart from the incredible music, literally from start to finish, because it starts off with that beautiful Smile on a Ribbon song and ends with Hush, Hush, Hush. Incredible. Like Fallout, Jordy and I are big Fallout fans. Same music. If you're into Fallout, you'll like Derry straight away.
Hush, hush, hush.
Also,
here comes the boogeyman. Greatest song.
It is. And also, when you really enjoy a TV show, if you want to do a deep dive into lore, that's what I feel like is one of the hallmark points of a really good TV show. Do you want to go back and watch all of it? Do you want to read up on it? Do you want to buy the books? To me, I do. Especially with like Derry. I can't believe how good it is. Each week, I'm looking forward to this.
When a source material has so much history and so much lore to it, you can have little Easter eggs filtered out throughout episodes or in backgrounds, like little throwaway moments. But Derry does it really well where they sort of catch your eye, or it might go past and you think, oh, was that a little Easter egg? And then after the episode finishes, you search it up to find out if it was or not, which most of the time it is.
And then we move into episode 3, which is where we start to get now Rose and Shaw, and we start to learn about new characters' lore, and this is opening up in a carnival, and we see Mrs. Kirsch sitting on Mrs. Kersh is also, if you don't remember, in chapter 2 of the movie, the one that helps out Jessica Chastain and gives her tea, but it's actually really not Kersh over there. She's been probably dead for years. It's the old grandma. She's now a girl in Pennywise clown outfit at the very start of this episode. Immediately, like, all of these little tidbits come in, and this is what is building the lore of Derry. I actually can't recommend to watch the TV show before if you love it.
And also, up until this point, we haven't actually seen Pennywise in his clown form. They've just been sort of cherry picking us with little moments of Pennywise coming through. So at the beginning of this episode, when we see a different clown full front and center, or even just in the background, and she's sort of staring at a young Shaw, it's an interesting way to remind you this is what the show is about. We may not have shown him, we may not have given you his full power yet, but he's there, he's lurking, he's watching, and he's going to come.
Pause. Geordie's right. As soon as you walk into like the tent as well, there's a guy like coasting him in here, like seems to be the operator of the tent. We don't know if that's Pennywise either.
It's just a little way to show you that, you know, Pennywise is there again.
Yeah, it's sure for some reason goes into like hyper sensitivity with his hearing or something. And do you know how everything slows down? You hear echoes off bouncing off shit like Spider-Man. Well, he starts to hear everything like games playing over on the right hand side. You start to see like the little pins dropping down, and there's turtles underneath them referencing Maturin, who's like the opposite of Pennywise, who's the good to Pennywise is evil. Like one clown has red hair, and they knock that down for a specific shot with the ball, and that's foreshadowing. So later in that episode, Shaw and Rose actually meet fucking Milkman in the Mr. Bones in the forest, and hits him in the eye with the ball. So it is a lot of foreshadowing in here.
Another little shout out in that, or Easter egg in that episode, when Shaw enters into the tent, the man playing the piano is actually the director of the episode. And we also get to see Dick Halloran's abilities and how he's going to be an integral part in the show in essentially counteracting Pennywise's ability. But it turns on its head because you can't trick Pennywise. And if you go into his playground, you're going to lose. You're going to get lost. And that's exactly what happens in this episode, where we see Dick using his ability on an artifact that touched Pennywise to find where Pennywise is, but it gets flipped on him. And for the first time properly, we see or we hear Pennywise, the Bill Skarsgård voice. Iconic, if you've watched the movies. And then you're like, holy shit, I'm 3 episodes in. This is the first time I've heard Bill Skarsgård, and now I'm all G'd up again to watch this. Where's the next episode? Right now.
And that's one crazy thing about that too. You're not supposed to see Dick in his shine. Like you're not supposed to see Dick shine. So when he goes into that, Pennywise drops the cart that he's
the synonymous
from.
cart.
The original too. Like clown
you love
cart.
It.
It's great. You see these beaming fucking predator eyes come out at you, and he goes, "Who are you?" And then reality warps him. He just goes right into Dick's mind somehow and gets him, veined up and hard. It's crazy. It's insane, like how Pennywise, you start to see him like almost reach his potential, but not reach his potential. Because in the movies, he kind of was just fucking with them. He didn't really go into how deep. Can't say deep and dick in the same sentence. No. Yeah, you just really don't know how much he's holding back, because he's holding back Dick. he's
holding back Dick.
You just don't know how much Pennywise is holding his power back. It's insane. But let's move on to the graveyard scene, can we? Before I absolutely lose my mind.
Yeah.
Because the graveyard scene, this is the one thing I'll say bad about Derry, is that scene alone.
Horrible.
The CGI for this thing was the same as like the Expendables 4 CGI. Yeah. It was the worst shit you've ever seen. Were they on the fucking lot or something?
They had to drop the ball at some point. I know we're up to episode 3, and so far the first 2 and 3/4 episodes has been incredible, but they dropped the ball here.
And then we get into season 4. That's episode 4.
Lore.
Episode 5.
Episode 4, though, even though it was lore heavy, best episode. Seeing the fact that Pennywise came from a meteor is just so cool in on the screen.
Yeah, and the reason why he's trapped in Derry is because these 4 pillars are being jail cells.
My man's fucking Brightburn's brother. The only thing that can hurt him is his own ilk.
And Mary Poppins, apparently. Same universe, allegedly.
Well, Brightburn.
Apparently. The entire 4 episodes, they've been showing the kids only seeing Pennywise and being manipulated for the storyline. We finally get to see Will's dad, who, by the way, doesn't have a fear gene or something. It seems to me that he's the only one who can counteract Pennywise because he doesn't get manipulated by fear. Finally get to see Will's dad see Pennywise, or see the balloon left at 2 different sites where Will gets dragged underwater and Will is fucking getting stared at by Pennywise like Michael Myers from the tree, and you see the balloon is like a remnant of Pennywise, which is really cool. I'm glad that Will is now not just the only crazy person and Lily can get out of the fucking pen house.
But Will drowning in ankle-deep water, that's got to be racist.
It's got to be racist.
You can't have the only black kid drowning in ankle-deep water. That's not right.
And I think we're going to skip through a little bit of what the start was because it is a little bit lore building at the storyline building at the start of just them rekindling. That's the main thing.
But I will say the opening does bring you immediately back to episode 4 when obviously Margie's trying to poke her own fucking eye out with a spoon, and then episode 5 opens up with her getting her eye taped
Doesn't
up.
she get the
Yeah, she's like trying to spoon her own eye out, trying to saw her eye off, and then obviously episode 5 opens up with her being bandaged, and immediately you're like, that scene from last week, holy shit, that was jarring. So that was really good by them. I thought it was a great way to open up.
It was, because then they start to go into more of the previous episodes, bringing it back into 5, and once again, making you second guess who's real and who's not. Are these people really dead, or are they coming back? You open up with Maddie walking out of the tent, and he's literally the Grey.
The Grey Man.
He's one of the Greys.
How they trusted him not to be Pennywise is ridiculous. I mean, he doesn't eat or feed during the day. Are you kidding? All of them have been haunted during the day, and they believe the Grey Man when he comes out the tent after fucking 5 weeks being missing, being like, yeah, no, he doesn't eat, let's go down the sewers. Come on.
And the guy looks like he's fucking rigor mortis. Like, how are you believing someone
proper
like that?
rigor mortis.
It's ridiculous.
That wasn't the first mention of Pennywise in this episode. We get to a scene where Ronnie's dad is being taken into a prisoner bus, and, you know, obviously Halloran's wife is like, I'm going to do everything I can to get you out. And she turns and looks into a doorway, and we just see Pennywise just pulling these ones, full sweating with the buck teeth Pennywise coming through. Unreal.
By the way, I think there's a little conspiracy there saying that that's her biggest fear of an officer from the South because it's not the same officers that you see loading Ronnie's dad into the Shawshank bus.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting if it actually is. That's a little conspiracy at the moment, but I'd like to see if that's true.
What a way to start an episode, because straight away you're transported back to the end of episode 4 where Dick was like, hang on a minute, we're getting too far into this, and...
What did he say?
Whoa.
Story of our life, huh?
I bet he is getting too far in. But we open up with Dick, literally. Whoa. We open up with Halloran. We were reminded that Halloran went straight into the N-world with in the last episode to get into this guy's mind. What's he? Taniel. And by the way, Taniel, why not just call him Daniel? I don't like that his name is Taniel. It really irks me, and it feels like it feels like every time they say like Taniel, it's a spelling error.
Yeah, literally.
It's Daniel, please.
And we're getting to the best bits of the episode because you want to be left either mesmerized or feared. That's what you want to think when you're leaving these episodes. We jump into the sewers. Now, there's 2 operations going on. We have the military finding out that Thaniel has told them Pennywise is in a certain location, and Dick's found... Halloran's found where that location is. And then we have the kids on Quaaludes going down there trying not to have any fear. So Pennywise is slowly leading these kids down to the sewers to try, obviously he's fucking hungry, needs a feed, and the military's trying to...
They just want to put him in a box.
Yeah, those little 3 or 11 pillars or 12 pillars,
yeah.
They're trying to shrink that down so they can control him in one specific area
They
and then use him.
They essentially want to get all these Horcruxes in one
pretty
room
much.
so that he can be held prisoner. And then, I think...
Used for a war,
obviously,
I think
this
he
is
said,
in the 50s, so Cold War, they're thinking maybe even like the Korean War or something like that. So they're obviously wanting to unleash this on the Soviets.
Yeah,
or they want to unleash it on the Cubans or something.
They said something about 1951 war,
Yeah.
but apparently the war ended in 50 and they wanted to get back. Something weird, okay? But they're trying to use him to like as a war weapon, right?
And in Taniel's vision, we find out that 29 Neibolt Street is where the tunnels lead to Pennywise's sewer, Pennywise's little area. And if that sounds familiar, it's because in the movies, 29 Neibolt Street is essentially where they have their final fight against Pennywise, where the wishing well is, the ring wishing well, where they can go down and get into his world.
Yeah, literally, whether we can go float too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as they're in there, we finally get to see Pennywise, and we see the slow uncovering of that Maddie. His head just explodes out of the teeth.
Such a cool animation.
And then he turns around, and here comes the clown. It's so cool.
Are you down with the clown?
It's so good to see. And obviously, as always, there's too much plot armor for certain characters, but once Taniel gets the knife from Rose during like one of these little interrogation scenes, it means nothing, but he gets the knife, and that knife has been blessed by like his ancestors or whatever to keep Pennywise away.
No, it's part of the meteor.
It is, but they little runes thing.
Yeah, but it's mainly because it's part of the meteor.
Fair. And so as they move this down into the sewer, he drops it, and at that point when he dropped it, if you haven't watched enough TV or enough movies, you know that that's going to come back
exactly.
later.
And you know it's going to be either one of the kids is going to find it on the floor and then use it to vaporize Pennywise or stay safe from him, or Leroy's going to find it and use it to save the kids. You just knew that was coming. One of the downfalls of this episode, it was so easy to pick what was happening. You could pick that Leroy wasn't going to believe that his son was down there, take a shot at him. You could pick that one of the kids was going to get separated and find the sword once Tanya dropped it and use it as like a savior thing. You could tell that Maddie wasn't Maddie. You know, so there was too much plot armor in this whole episode. Doesn't take away from how good it was. Too much though.
You have Uncle Sam come out of the shadows when you first see Pennywise.
One of the best animations that was.
Incredible.
I loved it.
Another great animation when Lily is like her back against this grate against the wall, and she has the Maturin turtle braces on, so you kind of think that is too protective a little bit. It's a little too OP.
But I don't actually know if the pendant or anything in relation to Maturin actually works.
But
maybe it's luck. Maybe it's luck. Like that's why That's why the sword floated to Lily, because she has the Maturin bracelet pendant on her, so it's luck.
Why the hell did TikTok boy not smack the gun up in the air and jump in front of the bullet? What are you doing, guy? You can literally just do this.
It was actually harder to get in front of the gun and get shot in the chest than it was to do anything else.
And somehow he's defied time, gravity, everything, and just flash sped right in front of that gun and got shot and then died.
And then coughing up blood immediately. And Leroy's like, you're going to be okay, you're going to be okay. No, you're not, buddy.
Buddy,
you're dead.
You're gone. You can go to the afterlife with where fucking Dick is at the moment.
We open up with the man himself. And anytime now that we see him on the screen, it is so good. But his entrance here, we were speaking about this off camera earlier. This is a bit of BTS, but the movements that the camera does with Pennywise just makes it so much more eerie and so much more cooler. And this was no different. We see the balloon floating across the screen as it's there in the background. We see it floating across the screen, and Penny's finger come out, and then it's just like, and it just looks so cool and sets the eeriness straight up, and I love that.
He seasons his fucking steak perfectly, doesn't he?
Literally his steaks, his victims that he's about to chomp on, as we see also later in this episode, which was awesome.
Yeah, and another thing we have to say, speaking about seasoning steaks, the dad called Leroy Hanlon seasoned those knuckles to punch his kid out, because if you're disrespectful like that, you deserve a smack in the face.
Especially if you say you are the reason your friend got killed. Yeah. You deserve to get whacked. Yeah. And his wife going off on him like that, look, I don't agree with that whatsoever. He deserved that punch. We're in the 50s or the 60s right now, okay? He's lucky he didn't get a lot worse than that. But he deserved that. How dare you say that to your dad when he literally just killed his friend because of you?
Yeah, are we going to speak about the friend jumping in front of the gun? That's bullshit.
When he could have just...
When he could just tapped it up. I mean, let's be honest. No, we're not
Why
going
did
to.
he jump in front? So he would have had to come from really you away, jump in front. Why?
He was right. He was next to me like that too. He could have just done this. I'd have missed Will altogether.
Leroy, and then he would have been like, yeah. Yeah. Kind of did.
Hot one today, huh?
Yeah.
One person we can collectively agree to put right back into the fucking padded room, Lily.
Yeah, I'm over Lily.
Hate.
Beginning first few episodes, I liked Lily, but her shine has slowly dwindled. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, if Pennywise wants to chomp, Lily.
Yeah.
Especially how rude she is to just everyone. Love, you're not the only one getting haunted. Yeah, everybody else is, and they're not being a bitch like you are. 2, you got lucky.
Plot armor was too thick and literally getting thicker. And the knife pulled out from the water and saved her life. Come on, are we serious? Just kill her off.
And now she's obsessed with the knife, and I'm like, why? You know, and then she's going crazy in the classroom, like, oh, they're gonna send me back to the loony bin. Go.
Yeah, go.
You need to be Shutter Island right now.
Agreed, because you cannot put one of your friends' dad behind bars with a complete lie.
Yeah, she folded. Rat, narc.
Yeah, fucking rat.
But no, Lily, you better redeem yourself in these later episodes, because like watching what happened to you in this episode when your only friend from the asylum ends up being like using you to get to Pennywise, where we've got to dive into that a little bit later with her freaking daddy issues and her obsession with her dad, which is kind of a bit weird.
Ancestral.
Yeah, literally. But Lily, you're getting on my nerves. She needs to have a better... Margie's taken over from you.
Yeah.
Margie, my girl.
Yeah, it's funny. I did not like Marge at the start. I like literally I could pepper my knuckles up for her, but now she really has changed my mind. Like the combination between her and Rich is a couple now.
He's the GOAT. He's so underrated in this show. Why is my man such a Romeo?
Yeah, he really
I'm
is.
falling for him.
He's Jim and Pam level. This is the relationship they're getting to. Like, not that level yet, but we're slowly watching them get to that point.
He's so smooth, my man. And he knows what he wants, and he's just, no matter what, he's going for it. She takes the eye bandage off. I was grossed out, throwing up on the floor. And my man just was like, I'll get that for you.
This guy was on demon time when he was trying to eat this little girl that she lured down there. And this is where, like, you think, in my mind, I was like, this is where shit hits the fan. And I was in the peak of, oh shit, I'm shitting my pants. Because she was running with Ingrid to like get to safety. She
girl.
falls over,
Yeah.
and as the little girl falls over, this Pennywise is chasing him like he does with that crazy head movement.
And
he stops in his tracks. When he stops, that's when my cortisol level went through the roof. I could not fucking believe that shit, man. That literally terrified me. I can't believe Pennywise is hitting these new peaks. I used to see him in the movies, and the guy was like kind of fucking with them, but that was all he was.
This is peak fucking with him. This is like he knows that he's the man,
Fully in
and no
control.
one can, no one can hurt him. And he's like, I'm just gonna play with my victim here a little bit. And the cool part about that scene as well, it was all shot in black and white, obviously to show that it's a time jump backwards and into the older days. But the only color in that episode, the little girl, once she gets literally eaten alive by Pennywise, red, seeping under the door. Love that. It's so simple because it's like the red balloon. When the red balloon pops up, it's like stands out so visually because it's like red. It's such a good color. And then they did the same thing with the blood here. Great symbolism.
Yeah, it is. It really is good symbolism. I like the little color palettes that they're using throughout these whole TV shows too, because you have specific movies have specific color palettes, and then like I like when like that specific thing is the main focus of the TV show sometimes. Also, not that I like Lily at all, but I like how she found just kind of stumbled upon the photos of her dad who looked exactly like Pennywise.
And Bill is a human / Pennywise / human form thing where it's Bill's face with like a bad haircut, but you could tell that if he had makeup on, it's Pennywise. I loved that look. I thought that was really well done because it was jarring to see him in this universe, human essentially.
He almost looks like he's like got a 1,000-yard stare, just like Halloran. Halloran is going through it. Man has literally got PTSD to the max now. He should not.
I've been there.
He should not be able to have his shine be infiltrated, and Pennywise is literally just taking his whole psyche over because that box is now open.
Yeah, but like even just you see him standing there especially when Leroy's talking to him about can you see them now or whatever, and then it turns to Dick, just a guy with his brain blown out right behind him, and he's like, nope, I'm good. I'm just like,
if I acknowledge them, they're gonna
exactly.
do so.
This has been one of the first shows for a long time where I've said I can't wait for the next episode. For once, I wish they would just drop every single episode at once so I could binge watch it. But also, making us wait makes it so much better to watch when it finally does come out, because you're like, all the anticipation builds up and then you can finally watch it.
How many times have we had this debate about should they release it weekly or should they release it in a pack?
Exactly.
Yeah. And with TV series like this that just do it so well, you have to release the best ones immediately because we want them. But the worst ones, I mean, I'm happy to wait a week. But this one is like crazy. I do like the week-to-week schedule that they have, and allowing that. It builds this anticipation of like, I want to dive deeper into lore. What's going to happen in the next episode? We have theories, we have fan theories. We start talking about things. This is why Welcome to Derry has really like epitomized that saying.
100%. And like, it's HBO once again. These guys just know how to do TV shows. Now look, is every single one of theirs a hitter? No, but they've got a pretty good track. I'm saying 80% are good, as opposed to like Netflix, Disney, whatever, who are like barely 50-50 these days. So shout out to HBO. You guys know what you're doing, and we cannot wait for season 2. Let's just hope it isn't like 5 years away.
Yeah, literally. Well, because we don't want Bill to fucking get too old and then leave.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, does it matter?
Yeah.
Bring him back when he's 80, like Kirsch here. It doesn't matter. The start off to this episode was just immediately a smack in the face. It just starts off with Penny being a menace.
The fog.
So he's gone into these schools, fogging it up.
He's on one in this episode, in this season. In these last like 4 episodes, he's just literally just shitposting at this point. And he's just showing his powers for no reason.
And as soon as he felt that one of those daggers died, or one of those protection spells died, he just said, okay, I'm awake, I'm going to cause menace.
Out of the pool like Baron Harkonnen.
Yeah, literally.
Like his father.
Yeah. Rises from the dead and kills everyone else. So
Skarsgård universe.
So he
Skarsgårdverse.
Literally. So he jumps right into the school and he takes control of the principal. And he, just like he did to Georgie in the first movie as well, he has his hand behind his back. And what I want to say about that scene, why is Bill 7'1"?
Exactly. I never realized Penny was that big.
As soon as the curtains open, this guy stands up and it's just this.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was like Undertaker type shit.
Literally standing behind you,
big.
waiting. And then he just causes that little crazy dance he does. Immediately, he puts fear into your heart. And that's what I think I like so much about these TV shows, is because every kind of like scene that they choose to show you, it always has some new form of horror or some new fear unlocked in my mind where I'm like, I wouldn't even ever think to do that, and that would ever scare me, and it does.
And I love his new skin where he's got like the blood up to here, and then he's just got the white here and then red. I love the new skin. He literally unlocked the new skin halfway 3/4 of the way through the season. I like that they changed up the way he looked throughout the season. Sometimes we see him as Bob, sometimes we see him as Pennywise kid. Now he's just got the full blood outfit. I actually really rate that. But what I thought watching that scene and watching that opening, I can't help but feel that he reminds me of the Grinch. He moves, sounds exactly like Jim Carrey and the Grinch. If you think the same thing, please let us know in the comments. We're not crazy, because I swear, even the way he's talking, who wants to see the clown?
That's it. I need a smoke break.
Yeah, like he just sounds exactly like the Grinch. Surely, if they ever do a Grinch remake or a Jim Carrey autobiography, Bill Skarsgård's the man.
Yeah, it's like he upgraded his player level to 100.
Yeah.
Unlocked his skin. It's just like the tier 100 of Battle Pass.
Literally. Yeah. And what we see in the ending of this opening scene is the Deadlights essentially being OP. We've never seen Penny use his powers to this extent, to where he's literally floating, 60 kids at once?
Yeah.
And then he's doing the little sing and the dance to get them like off guard, which was hilarious, listening to him sing. And then also listening to the words, what he says. It matches up perfectly with what he's about to do. But we've never seen the Deadlights to this extent. So cool.
He's too greedy. You're going to steal pretty much all of Derry. Like, is he going to have another feeding cycle in 27 years, or are all the kids just going to be dead? Because this guy just wanted to take them all.
It's a vendetta at this point, because we see that he could have left, like, obviously with the dagger being destroyed, with the Horcrux being destroyed and the gate opening so he could leave Derry, he could have left and flown away and terrorized the whole other town. It's personal at this point for him. He's got a vendetta. I think he likes Derry too. I don't think he wants to leave.
Yeah.
But he could have left. So he's just got a vendetta against these damn kids, and who knows why? Why does he hate kids so much?
Mate, he just literally despises them, and I don't blame him. If you've ever been on a plane and the baby's crying, I'd fucking kill that kid too, to be honest with you. In a video game, when he does deadlight the kids and they float too, and he's playing this weird trombone horn song. It's like
with his carriage.
And it has a really cool shot from like top up, where you see him and his eyes are just piercing orange as he's playing this thing. Dude, some of these cinematic shots in this are just incredible, and
It looked beautiful.
I really shout out to Andy Muschietti for doing those shots.
Then we see the girls moving to find like Pennywise, all their friends, because obviously the whole town's been floated, and for some reason these 3 girls are the only ones who survived. The most annoying 2 of them. Margie, goat. Ronnie, I don't like you. You complain too much. Lily, I wish you would just not be there anymore forever, because you suck.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lily is essentially Bilbo Baggins for the last 2 episodes. She can't let go of the dagger. Who knows why? But we
just corrupts her.
Yeah. The dagger just completely corrupts her. And you know what? I hate her.
Yeah.
I literally don't like her one bit. She's the worst character in this whole show.
Honestly, like when they were showing the dagger corrupting her, I actually thought that she was corrupting the dagger, because she was the worst character. She was literally put in there for rage bait. Yeah. At the very start of the season 1 and 2, episode 1 and 2, you're like, okay, just chick on through it. We can kind of understand it. And then it just stayed that way. She had no character development.
No, none.
She was boring.
And she complains every single episode like she's the only one going through something.
Do something if you're fucking that worried about it. Look at Margie. She had a great character development. It was hate and then love, and then she was like, oh, okay. And then Richie fucking came in, and we loved both of them together.
Margie.
And then you have Lily get her dad to pickle her down to Davy Jones's locker.
You're a liar. It should have been her that died, not Rich.
I agree.
Not my boy.
100% agree.
Not my man.
I would have stood up like this.
Yeah.
Give you Lily.
I would have been Shia LaBeouf in the cinema. We see a really cool scene where Pennywise is about to eat Margie, and he's essentially does a huge lore drop where we find out that he can essentially time travel, and that time means nothing to Pennywise. He has multiple timelines. He knows what's coming. He knows what's been. And he tells Marge that her son is going to kill him, or be one of the reasons why he dies, which is Rich from It 1, and then who is later on played by Bill Hader in It number 2. And this essentially tells us that Pennywise can just see the future. He can time travel.
Yeah, he's basically trapped to like some time loop, pretty much. He's like Looper.
Yeah,
that's like
exactly.
what it is, yeah.
But,
he's cursed.
But we see Dick literally freezes Pennywise in motion as he's about to float Marg and eat her.
Yeah, sick shot.
Awesome shot. I love seeing Pennywise in full form with the mouth open and the teeth showing. Really, really cool. That was a sick shot, and then Marge runs away. Of course she does, because everyone knew this. But that was a cool way because I genuinely thought, hang on a minute, is she gonna die? Right? She can't die. So I was like, what's about to happen here? But it was good enough written and directed that I thought she might actually die here, and they're gonna have to somehow like fix the timeline or change the timeline.
Which is the first time we've seen how powerful Halloran can be.
Yeah.
Like to control a deity is insane.
Yeah.
So for him to do that and then show him as originally Bob, which is the guy who
gets slapped like a bitch.
Has his acting from that too? He's like,
yeah,
just didn't know what the hell was going on.
Seeing Pennywise helpless for the first, one of the first times this season, is really funny because he's just like a normal. We've seen him 5 scenes ago, and he was 7'5", and now in this scene he's just like a typical clown.
And he's always messing with other people,
Yeah.
so it was really funny to see him be messed with, and then also him to figure out that Dick's actually controlling him. He's like, immediately. Like imagine
No, Dickie.
imagine the deity finding that out. Like that is
Yeah.
insane.
Fucking Spartan Shawn Michaels kicks him straight out of the carriage.
The switching music
Yeah.
right out of the carriage is so good.
Why is he running around like a clown?
Because he just tries to fuck with people.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He fully
Yeah.
just doesn't care.
And that probably goes more into the fact that he's on a time loop and he knows that no matter what happens, like in his dialogue, he explains to Marge that, you know, your son thinks he finished and killed me, but it meant nothing because I'm back. I could have stopped you here. I could have stopped him there. I'm back. And I think that is why he just fucks around. Because he knows he's just stuck in a loop. He can't get out of it.
Yeah, I think I've heard a couple of different theories where like he has to choose to die. So like when you see him dissipate in the chapter 2, and that's his choice because he jumps back into the hole, into the well, and then you see him just kind of vanish away, and then that's when he gets transported back into this now season that we're watching here, and you see that progression. So obviously in the next season we're going to see him in the Bradley gang, and then we're going to see like him go back even into the 1908, 08, and see all of these things where he's in the carnival like we saw today. So that was really cool. I thought like that whole progression of the linear time stuff, because it does get confusing. Like as soon as you introduce time travel, people are like, I'm lost, I'm gone. How do you like have all like these continuity errors? But but I think they're doing it pretty well.
Yeah, and another shout out. So we get obviously Pennywise essentially telling Ma, you're gonna have a son, he's gonna kill me. Margaret Tozier, which is obviously her last name. She gets married to a guy with the last name Tozier. Another shout out. We see Leroy say to Pennywise, I'm gonna rip your heart out if you touch my son, and yet lo and behold, Leroy's grandson, 54 years later, rips out Pennywise's heart with the Losers Club.
Yeah,
so
Mike just gets right in there with that cute Pennywise. I wouldn't rip his heart out because he looked cute and that's it, but it is what it is.
We see it again when, little shout out at the end, Beverly shows up at the insane asylum where her mum kills herself, and that is the beginning of it, number 1, where that's why she's in town, because her mum's killed herself, and everything ties in, and that's really, this show finished in a way that you could tell that if it went bad, like they did ratings weren't good or they weren't going to make season 2, this is a perfect way to wrap everything up.
I think, speaking about ratings, I think this was the highest rated like episode of the entire season.
Yep.
And I don't even think it was the best episode of the entire season, but it was definitely a highlight because the ending here, you have all of the losers, basically, well, you know, the crew here, trying to get that dagger right into the point of that tree.
Yeah.
And who comes along to save the day? Huh?
Not my boy.
Who's mate? Richie skipping along the same thing, just flicks Pennywise off
gives him
and goes right to the friends and helps
Love
him put him
that.
down. And then you see Penny transform into literally Van Helsing.
Yeah.
That was a really cool scene, and I think it was a really fitting way to end that episode, because then we start to get, as Geordie was mentioning, Mrs. Kirsch painting that memory of her grabbing her father's hand, which is the clown.
Pennywise.
Yep.
Yep.
And then she's now old, the one we remember, and I'm pretty sure we actually did say this, is that she is the fake, I guess, in the second episode, in the second movie.
Yeah.
I think we did
she's
say
116 years old.
I
so.
mean, she looks great for 116. She's moving like flawlessly, and she gets butt naked behind fucking Jessica Chastain. So it's a little weird if she was 118 doing that, or 17 or whatever.
Yeah, and I was sort of disappointed because I thought Richie was going to come back somehow, because Halloran says it's a miracle or it's some sort of like an angel rising, and I thought, no way, they're going to bring back Rich, but he's still dead. So, but that sends Halloran on the path of maybe I should use my shining for good to try and help people cross over to the other side. So if that's what my boy Rich's legacy is, he deserves it.
I also love how Halloran's like, I'm gonna go run a hotel. How bad can it be?
Yeah.
And then Q fucking Jack the Ripper comes out with his name.
Yeah.
Here's Johnny.
Did you think this is one of the better shows that HBO's done in a while? I think it was. I cannot wait for the next season, and I think, seriously, leave it to HBO's hands. Nobody else makes TV shows anymore.
Agreed. What's your biggest horror? I think big fat booty Latinas are my biggest horror. Penny, don't get me. Anyway, it's been another NCUT review. Peace, we out.
Peace.
NCUT.